everyone, and welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I'm your host, Stan Rattan, and this is a Blue Collar Wine Show where I try to help you spend your wine dollars wisely. Excited today, I'm going to do a little grocery store Chardonnay tasting. In other words, this is a Chardonnay that you could walk into most any grocery store and find on the shelf. It's kind of a fun thing to do because, you know, hey, people want to know what these wines taste like. And I know a lot of you guys can find these if you want to look for them. And some of them have some really great deals going on. Well, at least one of them has a really fantastic deal going on that perhaps your grocery store can pass on to you. I spent the first part of my day training my new wine assistant, Scott. He's doing a great job. I'm very excited about having him on board. And he's very eager to learn and a smart guy, so I'm very looking forward to that very much. Let's get started right away with Meridian Vineyards Chardonnay 2013. I love it. It says California, breezy and fresh. And it's been a long time since I tasted Meridian. This rolls in at $12.50 a bottle, but I know that you could probably get it for less in some places, including my store, depending on how it tastes, of course. Let's give this a little rinse. Chardonnay is still the king of wines, #1 varietal in the United States, even beats out Cab. It's hard for some of you to believe. I'm kind of excited about trying inexpensive Chardonnay because what happens is they tend to use less oak. And with the weather being warm, you probably want to go with a less oaky style Chardonnay. And they use less oak because oak is expensive and they could hardly put any new oak of any sort on these wines to sell them as inexpensively as they do. So let's see what we get on the nose. Get a little bit of a buttery component coming through. Get a little apples, definitely apples with a little bit of butter. A little bit of vanilla action. All of these come from, they probably use neutral oak or maybe a 2-year-old oak or whatever they use. Meridian's a huge winery. You're getting just a hint of butterscotch and pineapple. Let's see what we get on the palate. You know, not too bad. I get that butterscotchy kind of buttery component coming on, which I'm sure that's what they're trying to target. Certainly but it's very fresh. I mean, it's certainly not heavy. There's not like heavy oak on this. Just that effect of butterscotch. A little bit of apple coming through. The pineapples come through with that little bit of butterscotch. I like this Chardonnay. It doesn't taste fakey to me, which sometimes, you know, certain wineries will add certain things to the wines to attain a certain flavor profile. I get just a touch of that, just a little, but it certainly isn't offensive. I'm going to go C+ on that wine. I think it's pretty good for what you get. Edna Valley Vineyards Central Coast Chardonnay 2013. This rolls in at $14. And for those of you who know Chardonnay, Edna Valley has been around a long time, and almost any grocery store you go into will have it on their shelves. I wonder if Trader Joe's has Edna Valley. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've been in the Trader Joe's. Mainly because they're not on the island, and there's one up in Bellingham. It's just not a store that I go to. I know a lot of people are, you know, get pumped up about Trader Joe's. Not so much here. All right. This is much softer on the nose. More, let's say, the word would be more elegant. It's almost got like a dusty component. There's definitely butterscotch coming through on this one. I'm getting that. This has a little bit of melon and pineapple. try to get them at the right temperature, and I've said that many times. I do not review wines at a temperature that I believe most people will not drink their wines. That doesn't make any sense to me. How could I possibly review a wine and give you a descriptor if you're not going to get any of those out of it? We all know this, wine warms up, you get more flavors, things pop out of the wine that are not there when it's a little colder. I try to keep it not too cold, but definitely not room temperature, because I want to describe the wine the way you are going to experience. So I hope you appreciate that. Maybe you can make a comment. Do you agree with that approach? And I even asked a winemaker one time, do you make what your wines in the realizing that people were going to drink them colder? And one of the couple winemakers said, yeah, that's the way we build them, because we know that's how they're going to taste them. Has a little cotton candy. That's what I'm getting out. A little bit of cotton candy going on. Let's see what we get on the palate. You know, pretty good. There's definitely some butter components, but this is much fresher, much more balanced than the Meridian. Nice creamy mid-palate. I think you Chardonnay lovers will like that aspect of it. Very nice and creamy on the mid-palate. That butterscotch barely comes through. It's there with a little bit of a kind of a pear apple sort of thing going on. I like the balance on this wine, I really do. Has a solid toastiness on the back end, I guess that's what you'd call it. Like this Chardonnay, I do. It doesn't go heavy on you. You can have this out in the yard with a little barbecue chicken, maybe some chicken salad, something like that. I like it. I do. I like this wine. I'm going to go B-. I think it's a very well-made Chardonnay. I like it in the valley. I'm glad I got to try it. It's been a while. Very recognizable label. Clos du Bois 2013 Chardonnay, California. $13. I think anybody who has ever bought a Chardonnay would recognize Clos du Bois. There you go. Just a tiny rinse. Or as some people say, Clos du Bois. Oh, some of these names are hard. And I'm not laughing at them, I'm laughing with them because, you know, I went through my struggles in describing wines and pronouncing some of those Viognier, Pouilly-Fuissé, Pouilly-Fumé, Tannat, Voumanet, all those different names of wines, and you know, it can be tough sometimes. Let's see what we get on the nose. Clos du Bois, huge production. This goes a little on the pear side, a little bit of Asian pear. A little bit, I'm getting a little bit of that spice, like a baking spice component. Definitely apples and pineapples and pears. Apples, pineapples, pears, oh my. Apples, pineapples, pears, oh my. Where did that come from? I don't know, it just came through my mind. Yeah, I love that pear kind of baking spice. Now, there's not a lot of it, but it's a little bit, very slight, but it's there, and I like that. Let's try it. Well, see what we get on the palate. Wow, totally citrus. I get lemon, I get pineapple, almost like a green apple, but not a lot of apple, mostly lemon, a little steely component coming through too. This is a very fresh, a lot leaner Chardonnay. I like this one too, for a ton of different reasons. Another one with good balance, steely, like you licked a steel, stainless steel, you know, perfectly clean stainless steel. Pineapple and apple and pear notes come through just a little bit. Almost like a green pear, like a really green pear. Green pear, a really green pear. Good Chardonnay. I mean, I like the balance. I like the cleanness of that one. Kind of like the yin and the yang of the wines. Kind of opposite, but very good. Fresh, but a little creamier. Fresh, more citrus. Like them. I like this one. I'm going to go B- on that one too. I think it's a great Chardonnay for $13. Let's move on to the next one. Never tried this one. 2013 Central Coast Cupcake Vineyards Chardonnay. Cupcakes, you know, they do the red velvet, they have the Sauvignon Blanc, they do a bunch of stuff from all over the world. The Cupcake Sauvignon Blanc is from New Zealand. They do a Moscato, sparkling Moscato, they do a lot of things. Let's see what we get on the nose. It's kind of fun to do these lineup of wines that you can get just about anywhere, because you know you're like looking at this going, yeah, well that's cool, but I can't get it. And I try not to do that too much, but you know it happens. And so I stayed away from Washington. I want to do a Washington Chardonnay. I stayed away from that because a lot of you guys can't get Washington Chardonnay where you're living. So anyway, let's see what we get on the nose. This almost has a fig component coming through. A little bit of pear, get a little bit of pear and fig. A little more restrained than, it's closer to the Edna Valley, but it's a little more restrained than the other three. Let's see what we get on the palate. This reminds me a little bit of the Edna Valley. It's got that kind of creamy, buttery component coming through, but it has good balance. I don't get any like makeup on it. It actually has a nice fresh finish, a little bit of steely action on the finish. It's kind of like a butterscotch and pineapple on the backside, but very clean finish. Pretty simple, but delicious at the same time. Those are good combinations for a lot of wine drinkers. They don't want to have to think too much about what they're drinking. This is a nice refreshing Chardonnay. Actually, they've all been in that category. I like that pineapple sort of thing going on. I like that a lot. And that's pretty good stuff. No, it really is. It really is. I'm liking all of these actually in different ways. I'm going to go B minus on the cupcake. Because I like the butterscotch. There's a little bit more complexity, but it finishes clean. There's a lot of things going on. I'm going to go B minus on that. $12. It's a good play. I think those who like a little creamier style Chard will love the Edna Valley. I liked it a lot. If you want a little bit more citrus on your Chard, go with the Clos de Bois. And if you want a nice clean kind of cross between creamy, clean, all that, go with the Cupcake and the Meridian. I think you can get it for like $7. You know, it's a pretty good play. A little bit more. I get a little bit more makeup on that one than the rest, but it's still not bad. There you go. Grocery Store Chardonnay. Thanks for watching. Remember, wine is not a mystery. It is just fermented grape juice. I always mess that part up. Drink it. Enjoy it. Try new things. I mean, you know, Chardonnay is not new, but try a different Chardonnay. Try something, maybe, if you like oaky, try a maybe less oaked Chardonnay. Just see if you can appreciate that. If we do that. Oh, and never ever let anyone tell you what you should or shouldn't like. If we do that together, we can take the snot out of wine.